I am Laura Gallagher, and I live in Burbank, California, and I stay at home with my kids. They have a autism and developmental delay, so they keep me busy. I had a malignant melanoma, mucosal, which is inside the body, and that was the diagnosis. I actually have a naturopath that I've been visiting. I think I'd started visiting her maybe a year before I found out about this treatment. And I was doing testing with her. She's Dr. Shiva Lalazar in the Santa Monica area, I think, Brentwood. I was telling her about my diagnosis. I was telling her about what was happening and how I really didn't have many treatment options left. And she immediately recommended Dr. Nizami and was really excited to share that with me. She was adamant that I look into it. And I immediately felt confident because of my confidence in my naturopath. I get infusions and I do that through my naturopath's office. That's really been convenient for me, and it's a really nice and calming location to do that. Yeah, I started off by doing quite a few infusions, like closer back to back, four infusions a week. And then slowly we've tapered down. So at this point, it's been a little bit over a year since I started them. And I now do them like twice a month. And so I've moved from 4 times a week all the way down to twice a month. I actually looked up doctors who might have similar, just outside the box options, like alternative care. And I really couldn't find anything. There was some kind of center that I found, and I could tell just through talking to them that this isn't something that they're really not going to be offering anything different than what I've already experienced. And what I already experienced was a one-size-fits-all kind of care that truly offered very, very few options. And I could tell they really didn't understand what was going on with me. I could tell that from the very beginning. And it turned out to be true when I met with Dr. Nizami and got his feelings on everything and his treatment. I had a general oncologist in the beginning who recommended 2 melanoma specialists. So I went and visited them to see which one that might be a better fit. And everyone basically had the same opinion. And beyond that, they didn't really have many ideas. I really like how he's straight to the point, and he doesn't fill time with a lot of empty words, empty testing. He gets right to what needs to be done and doesn't add in all the extra stress. I really hope to keep doing the treatment for as long as I can and continue to get stronger and figure out what life could be feeling so much better, because my health really had been going downhill for at least a couple decades. I'd say I was feeling really, really like I knew something was really wrong with me, and I couldn't find answers. It really holds you back from enjoying life and from figuring out what you want to do and who you are even. So I really hope to learn some of those things about myself and to actually be able to enjoy life. That would be a big goal of mine. I would definitely recommend anybody to see Dr. Nizami. Obviously, it's more motivating if you've done treatments and they haven't worked. And in my situation, the oncologists, like the conventional oncologists, were basically telling me like, well, if something happens, like there's always surgery. And that's really like just waiting for the next surgery type thing. That's very motivational to try something different. But I would recommend it for anybody because it's actually going to be building your body up and making you stronger, making you less susceptible to having any kind of relapse or struggling in the future, just with your health in general. Because I've noticed the treatment has helped me with all kinds of symptoms going back, like I said, when I felt like my health was failing me decades ago. This is actually somehow making those things better as well. So that's been huge for me. I've really appreciated it. And like I said, I'd recommend it for anybody because I know cancer treatment in general. I did immunotherapy, which doesn't have the reputation for causing as harsh of side effects, but certainly every treatment you're going to do like conventionally is going to take a toll on your body. And my treatment did. Eventually it all heads up. And of course, people taking chemo, we all know like the effects that can have. I think it's so important when you're going through such a stressful time, and the fact that there's obviously something wrong that something that went wrong in your body and in your systems, to address that, to not just take to go nuclear and try to kill everything you can, but to also like address what actually went wrong, and to find a doctor who had answers for me and actually like I felt like saw me for what was going on beyond just like, oh, well, here's your diagnosis, so here's what we do with everybody with this diagnosis. It's like, no, I actually see you and your situation and can help you as an individual. And that was something, like I said, I'd been searching for answers for my health for a long time, and I'd never come across that. So it's so unique, so unique. I will say it's so much less stress. And not only is it less stress on the body, but it's also just much less stressful in the way that they organize and work with you. So with the conventional oncologists, like my original oncology teams, there's so many doctor's appointments. So you're always going to doctor's appointments. You're always getting phone calls, and all those things are really stressful. They kind of feel like they take over your life a little bit. And every moment that you're doing those things, you're sitting in waiting rooms. You always feel like the doctor is sitting you down to tell you something, and just the tension of waiting for the doctor to arrive while you're sitting there, like it definitely weighs on you. So yeah, even and I was getting a lot of phone calls. They're calling you every time I'd see a number from the hospital. It's like you just feel so much anxiety even just talking about it. I can remember how that felt. And with Dr. Nizami, first of all, like I said, the setting that I get the infusions is much more relaxed than when I did the immunotherapy, the traditional treatment. And they just contact you when you need to be contacted. Like they email a lot, they do Zoom, it's not all these endless appointments that, and like I said, there were so many appointments where you feel like the doctor's sitting you down to tell you something, and he really doesn't have any updates. There's nothing new to talk about. So a lot of it feels like it just adds onto you for no real good reason. So the way that Dr. Nizami's office handles things is much more calming, and I immediately have noticed a difference in my mental health.